and university trains you. What is the PGDE itself? Dear students, let me now zoom in on the PGDE because you should know exactly what kind of qualification you are taking. PGDE stands for Postgraduate Diploma in Education. It is a 1-year, full-time professional qualification. You can only enter the PGDE if you already have a relevant undergraduate degree. For chemistry teachers, that means a chemistry degree, or a degree with a substantial proportion of chemistry, typically at least 80 SQF credits in chemistry, including credits at SQF Level 8 or above. This is because as a chemistry teacher in Scotland, you must be able to teach all the way up to advanced higher, which means your subject knowledge must be deep and confident. The PGDE year is intense. At Strathclyde and Glasgow, the year runs from August through to June. It is structured around 3 integrated strands. The first strand is your university-based teaching, which includes professional studies and curriculum studies in chemistry. Professional studies covers the broad principles of education, ethics, child development, inclusion, and the GTCS standards. Curriculum studies in chemistry covers your subject pedagogy, how to actually teach chemistry. The second strand is your 2 school placements, which together total around 18 weeks. The third strand is your assessed coursework, which usually includes written assignments, professional development files, lesson observations, and a final professional review. When you pass your PGDE, your university recommends you to the GTCs, and the GTCS gives you provisional registration. With provisional registration, you can apply for a 1-year probation post under the teacher induction scheme. After completing your probation year successfully, you are awarded full registration, and at that point you are a fully qualified Scottish secondary chemistry teacher. So the journey is degree, then PGDE, then probation, then full registration. You are right at the beginning of that path now, and I am here to help you make it. The classroom expectations placed on you. Dear students, let me now describe what is actually expected of you in the chemistry classroom, because this is what makes you different from somebody who simply knows chemistry. Knowing chemistry is necessary, but it is not enough. A chemistry teacher must do far more than know chemistry. You must be able to plan a lesson with clear learning intentions and success criteria. You must be able to explain a concept in 3 or 4 different ways, because some pupils will not understand the first explanation. You must be able to manage a classroom of 30 teenagers, some of whom may be tired, distracted, anxious, or unwell. You must be able to keep a chemistry laboratory safe with hot apparatus, glassware, and chemicals. You must be able to assess pupil understanding both formally and informally. You must be able to differentiate your teaching for pupils with additional support needs, including dyslexia, autism, ADHD, and English as an additional language. You must be able to mark fairly and consistently. You must be able to communicate with parents respectfully and professionally. You must be able to safeguard children, including knowing your duties under getting it right for every child, the GERFIC framework. You must be able to integrate literacy, numeracy, and health and well-being into your lessons. Because in Scotland, these 3 are responsibilities of all teachers, not just specialists. And you must be able to reflect on your own practice, learning continuously throughout your career. That is a lot, students. I know it sounds overwhelming. But please understand, this entire course is designed to take you, step by step, through every one of these demands. By the time we finish Lecture 70, you will be able to walk into any Scottish secondary chemistry classroom and stand confidently in front of your pupils. Common misconceptions about Scottish chemistry teaching. Dear students, before I close this lecture, I want to clear up the misconceptions that PGDE students often arrive with. Let me list them and correct them, because if I do not, they will get in your way. The first misconception is that Scottish chemistry teaching is the same as English chemistry teaching. It is not. The qualifications are different, the curriculum is different, the inspectorate is different, the regulator is different. If you trained in England or studied in England, please leave that mental model at the door, because Scotland has its own distinct system. The second misconception is that BGE chemistry is just basic stuff that does not matter. This is wrong. The BGE is where pupils form their first impressions of chemistry. If you teach the BGE poorly, you lose pupils for life. Some of the most skilled teachers in Scotland are absolutely outstanding BGE teachers. The third misconception is that as a chemistry teacher, you only teach chemistry. In reality, in many Scottish schools, you will teach across the BGE sciences in S1 and S2, including some biology and physics topics, especially in smaller schools. So please be ready to teach a broader range than just your specialism in those early years. The fourth misconception is that the SQA exams are designed to trick pupils. The SQA exams are designed to assess understanding fairly. They are predictable in structure, transparent in mark schemes, and consistent across years. Once you know the system, you can teach pupils to succeed. The fifth misconception is that being a chemistry teacher is just about knowing chemistry. As I have said already, that is only the beginning. The rest of this course is about everything else. How to remember today's lecture for the long term. Dear students, I want to give you a memory technique to lock today's content into your long-term memory. I want you to remember a single phrase. 3 to 18, PGDE then senior phase, governed by CFE, examined by SQA, regulated by GTCS, supported by SERC. Say it again with me. 3 to 18, PGDE then senior phase, governed by CFE, examined by SQA, regulated by GTCS, supported by SERC. If you can repeat that sentence smoothly, you have just summarized the entire architecture of Scottish education. The age range, the two phases, the curriculum body, the qualifications body, the regulator, and the science support body. 6 pieces of information in a single sentence. That is your scaffold for everything we will study. And here is a second memory aid. The 4 qualifications in the senior phase climb upward like a staircase: National 4, National 5, Higher, Advanced Higher. Picture a staircase with 4 steps. Each step is harder, each step requires more independence, and each step opens more doors. National 4 is the foundation. National 5 is the doorway into Higher. Higher is the doorway into university. Advanced Higher is the doorway into independent research and elite university entry. Exam style and reflective questions you should be able to answer. Dear students, by the end of this lecture, you should be able to answer these questions, and I would like you to pause and try them mentally before our next session. First, describe the difference between Curriculum for Excellence and the SQA Senior Phase qualifications. A strong answer would say, CFE is the broad national curriculum framework, covering ages 3 to 15, focused on developing the 4 capacities and using experiences and outcomes. The senior phase qualifications are externally validated SQA awards covering ages 15 to 18, with course specifications, examinations, and assignments. Second, explain the role of the GTCs in your professional life. A strong answer would say, the General Teaching Council for Scotland is the regulator of the teaching profession. It maintains the register of teachers, sets the professional standards, and oversees professional conduct. As a PGDE student, my year is judged against the standard for provisional registration. Third, name the 3 areas of study at SQA National 5 Chemistry. A strong answer would say, chemical changes and structure, nature's chemistry, and chemistry in society. Fourth, explain why the BGE is important for a chemistry teacher. A strong answer would say, the BGE is where pupils form their attitudes toward chemistry. It builds the conceptual foundation that the senior phase later assesses, and effective BGE teaching is essential for pupil progression into National 5 and beyond. If you can answer these 4 questions in your own words, you have absorbed today's lecture properly. Teacher explanation script for placement. Dear students, when you go on placement, your mentor, or a curious pupil, may ask you to explain the Scottish system in plain words. Here is a model script you can use, adapted for the audience. To a pupil in S2, you might say, in Scotland, you do broad science from S1 to S3, then you choose your subjects in S4. From S4, you take qualifications called National 4 or National 5, and if you do well, you can move on to Higher in S5 and Advanced Higher in S6. Each one is harder, but each one opens new doors. To a parent at Parents' Evening, you might say, your child is currently in the broad general education, which is governed by Curriculum for Excellence. From S4, they will move into the senior phase, where they will take SQA qualifications. National 5 is generally taken in S4, Higher in S5, and Advanced Higher in S6. The Higher is particularly important, because it is the qualification universities pay closest attention to. To a fellow trainee you might say, Scottish secondary chemistry has 2 distinct phases, BGE governed by experiences and outcomes, and senior phase governed by SQA course specifications. We support the system through SERC, we regulate the profession through the GTCs, and we sit our pupils through National 5, Higher, and Advanced Higher Chemistry. Practice these short scripts. Being able to articulate the system clearly is one of the marks of a confident professional. Summary. Dear students, let me now summarize what we have covered, because summary is one of the most powerful tools for memory. We started by understanding that Scottish education is fully devolved and distinct from the rest of the UK. We then mapped the staircase of education from age 3 to age 18. We explained that secondary chemistry sits inside two phases: the broad general education in S1 to S3, governed by the sciences, experiences and outcomes, and the senior phase in S4 to S6, governed by SQA course specifications. We named the 4 key qualifications: National 4, National 5, Higher and Advanced Higher. We described the 7 institutions that govern Scottish education: the Scottish Government, Education Scotland, the SQA, the GTCS, local authorities, SERC, and your university. We explained what the PGDE is and how it leads, through probation, to full registration. We described the demanding range of skills expected of a Scottish chemistry teacher, and we corrected the most common misconceptions PGDE students arrive with. Then we gave you a single memory phrase: 3 to 18, BGE then senior phase, governed by CFE, examined by SQA, regulated by GTCs, supported by SERC, and a staircase image of the 4 qualifications. If you carry just one idea away from today, let it be this: Scottish chemistry teaching is a rich, structured, distinctive system, and once you understand the system, every other lecture in this course will fall into place naturally. Final motivational closing. I want to close with a message from my heart. You have chosen one of the most important professions in the country. You will not become rich teaching chemistry in Scotland. You may not become famous. But I promise you this: you will change lives. Every single year of your career, you will stand in front of pupils who do not yet know how clever they are. You will introduce some of them to chemistry for the very first time. You will be the person who lights the flame for the next generation of doctors, nurses, pharmacists, engineers, scientists, and chemistry teachers. Some of your pupils will go on to careers you helped them imagine. Some of them will remember you for the rest of their lives. This course you are starting today is not just a year of study. It is the foundation of a lifelong professional identity. The journey ahead is demanding. There will be tough days on placement. There will be lessons that do not go to plan. There will be moments of self-doubt. But you are not alone. You have your university tutors, your school mentors, your fellow PGDE students, and you have me, your professor, walking with you through every single one of these 70 lectures. In our next lecture, Lecture 2, we will take a deep dive into curriculum for excellence and the sciences, experiences and outcomes. You will learn about the 4 capacities, the 7 design principles, and how to translate an experience and outcome into an effective chemistry lesson. So please come back ready, and remember, you are training to become a teacher of chemistry, one of the proudest professions in Scotland. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself, drink some water, get some rest, and I will see you in Lecture 2.